As we get closer to November, Donald Trump slowly becomes more unbeatable. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back again with a new video. Today, we have to talk about the 2024 presidential election because Donald Trump is becoming unbeatable. And I know, that seems kind of cocky, that seems kind of, overboard, but when you look at the current state of the race as of now, again, things could theoretically change, but we are in July. And as of now, you look at virtually any metric, not just polling, but fundraising, voter registration, everything is indicating, Donald Trump is in a very good position. And come November, I really believe he could be unbeatable. If Democrats don't pull off a complete miracle, I'm talking about the stars align, all right? You need everything to go right for the next 4 months. I really believe we are going to see Trump become unbeatable. That means even if they run someone different like Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, it doesn't really matter. At that point in time, come November, I really believe we are going to see Trump become unbeatable. Hell, when you look at the current metrics that we got, which again, they could change. We are only in July, I understand that, but at some point it's like, okay, we have been saying for months, well, just wait till May. Well, actually, wait till June. Just wait for July. Actually, wait till August. We've been hearing the same argument for months now. Not hell, a year. To just wait till whenever. Listen, we are 4 months away from the election. We had a presidential debate where tens of millions of people watched it live. As of now, Trump is up by 3.5 points. I think we're reaching a territory where an electoral landslide by Trump is more likely than Biden to even win. I'm not trying to be arrogant. I'm not trying to tell people not to vote. It's be a landslide for sure. But I want to go over why I believe this. And let's start with the current polling at the national level. Trump's up by 3.5 points. Yeah, that's an 8-point shift from 2020. An 8-point shift. That alone, just looking at the map, if Trump is really doing 8 points better in every state, it's not a perfect metric, but let's just say he is. Well, he's winning Nevada, he's winning Arizona, he's winning Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, hell, Nebraska's second. The only states that he loses is probably Minnesota, Virginia, and Maine at large. Hell, I think even at that point, Trump would win New Hampshire. I'm not saying that's going to happen. But if we just did a universal shift from 2020, okay, Trump would be at 317 electoral votes. 317. More than 2020. Am I saying this is going to happen? No. Because you're not going to see a universal shift in every single state, district, whatever. But it's a demonstration to show you, okay, if Trump is doing 8 points better everywhere, he's going to win easily. But let's just say, okay, maybe the polling is off, like it was in 2020. But in 2020, it was off in favor of Biden. But either way. So let's say, okay, the polling is off by 3 points, and Trump isn't winning by 3. Instead, he's tied. Well, this is the first major problem for Biden. Even in that scenario, Trump wins Nevada, Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia. Yeah, Biden does win Minnesota, Virginia, etc. But the problem is, Trump is still at 312. His 2016 map plus Nevada. Notice the first problem for Biden. He has to outperform the polling not by just 3 points, but by 5 to 6, maybe even 7 points, just to maybe get a victory. That's undoubtedly the biggest problem for Biden. You're not talking about a 3-point miss, which compared to 2020 is bigger. That is a bigger polling miss than 2020. You're talking about having a 6 to 7 point miss in favor of Biden. Which the last time the polling overstated Republicans was like, what, 2012? And you could argue that's a completely separate environment. The parties have changed so much where you're not going to have that ever happen again, especially with Trump on the ballot. Trump has a consistent history of outperforming the polling, not just at the national level, but state by state. outside of like Nevada and maybe Georgia, he outperforms the polling in every single state. So you're talking about not only just a bigger miss than 2020, it would be one of the biggest polling misses in history, especially in the last 40 years for the presidency. Is that going to happen? Really? Hell no, it's not. That is copium. If you really think there's going to be a 7-point miss in favor of, Biden, that he's going to win, you're delusional. That's not going to happen. Hell, you can make the argument the polling as of now is understating Trump. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but this is something that many other people have thought about. What if the polling is understating Trump by a couple points, like it did back in 2020? Will it happen? No. But let's say, okay, instead of being down by, or up by 3 points, let's say he's up by closer to 6 points. That's a 10-point shift since 2020, just over. In that scenario, Trump wins Minnesota, Nebraska 2nd, Virginia, New Hampshire, Maine at large. Hell, you're talking about even New Mexico flipping. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but there is a legitimate possibility you see a 2 to 3 point polling miss in favor of Trump. It's possible. I really believe it can happen because he has a history of doing the same thing. Back in 2020, he outperformed the polling by 3 points or whatever. 2016, outperformed the polls by just under, a point? He has a history of this, and that's the second biggest problem. History. Trump has a track record of doing better than the polls suggest. I'm not saying that's a guarantee, but the fact is, these same polls in 2020 and 2016 had him losing and doing worse than he actually did. Now, they have him winning by 3 points. If you have the same polling miss, Biden has no pathway to the presidency because, okay, let's just be favorable and say, okay, Trump is winning Georgia and North Carolina by easy margins. But let's say he's holding on to New Mexico, Biden is. Same thing in Minnesota, Virginia, Nebraska 2nd, New Hampshire, Maine at large. And let's say the other 5 states are up for grabs. Here's the problem for Biden. He has to run the table. If he loses Pennsylvania in this scenario, which again, this is actually being friendly to Biden. If he loses Pennsylvania, he's done. If he wins it, okay, that's 1 state down. If Trump wins Nevada, which we can probably put into the safe column. I mean, look at the current polling in Nevada, which I know it has a history of, understating Democrats by a couple points, but Trump's up by 5 points. And most people are saying that he's going to win Nevada by several points. Not just me. You're talking about the expert in Nevada saying, yeah, Trump is probably up in Nevada by several points. He's going to win the state. So let's just say, okay, Trump is up in Nevada. Well, at that point, Biden needs to win Michigan and Wisconsin just to barely crack 270. All right? If he loses Wisconsin, it's over. If he loses Michigan, it's over. If he loses Pennsylvania, it's over. Hell, if he loses Nebraska 2nd, which is possible, I guess, in that scenario, it's tied. And with how they do the election in the House, Trump wins. You see the problem here? Because even if there's a big polling miss in favor of Biden, he has such a shit pathway to the presidency because Trump's already at like 257 lockdown at this point. I just don't see how he does worse than 257. Well, Biden's only at 225, and that's being generous. That's not including states like Minnesota. That's not including states like Virginia. Hell, we're seeing data out of New Mexico to indicate, hey, maybe something's happening here. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Just notice the problem here? Trump's pathway to the presidency is so simple. He wins Pennsylvania, it's over. He wins Wisconsin and Arizona, it's over. He has a very simple pathway. And not only that, we're getting data points out of New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, etc., where The polling is not looking good for Biden at all, especially New York. Look at this. There was an internal poll leaked just a couple hours ago. I did a whole video on this, but I didn't realize what districts they were talking about. They have Biden losing Lawler's seat. For those that don't know, New York 17 is like Biden plus 13 or whatever. And same thing with New York 22nd. It's like Biden plus 15. Well, these are represented by Republicans because 2022 is a red wave in New York. You get the point. Right now, Trump is clobbering Biden in New York 17th. He's up by double digits. Now, I have some legitimate questions like, okay, who actually conducted the poll? What were the margins? You know, how many undecideds there were? You know, all that. But the fact is, Democrats are worried about states like New York, New Jersey. I'm not saying they're going to flip, but it sounds like they're so worried about states like that they're going to have to invest tens of millions of dollars just to protect New York. Which I don't think's flipping, but that should tell you everything about this campaign. It is getting so bad for Biden that they're worried about New York and New Jersey. They're struggling in Virginia. They're doing awful in Minnesota. Hell, they have problems in New Mexico. They're getting crushed in the swing states. I don't know how the Democrats recover from this. Because theoretically, this will only get worse for Biden. It seems like every day, just look at the aggregate, okay? It seems like every other day at this point, Biden's numbers drop a little bit further. Okay, look at June 30th. It was Trump plus 2.4. July 4th, Trump plus 3.1. Now it's Trump plus 3.3. And yes, Trump did go up a little bit. I mean, he went from like, what is that, 46% to around 47%. He's going up. But the problem for Biden is he's collapsing. He's going down. It seems like every poll now he's gone down 2 points since last week. He's gone down a point. His fundraising is drying up. A bunch of Democrats are bailing. A bunch of them are saying Trump is going to win. You have like Michael Bennett, I believe it was, saying, yeah, Trump is going to win in a landslide on CNN or NBC. I forgot which one it was. When you have Michael Bennett in a Democrat state like Colorado saying that, he has no reason to say it. That should tell you the current state of the race. It is not good for Democrats. Again, we should not be cocky because things could theoretically happen where Biden makes a magical comeback. But just looking at history, just looking at the current state of the race, I think Trump is unbeatable. And if he's not there yet, he will become November. I just don't see a pathway for Biden that's realistic. You need to win everything. Like, of course, New York and New Jersey, I'm just saying that Democrats are worried about those states now. But even then, give him New Mexico, give him Minnesota, give him Virginia. He has to run the table. If he loses Pennsylvania or Michigan, he's done. If he loses Arizona and Nebraska second, he's done as well. His pathway is getting slimmer and slimmer and slimmer by the day. While Trump's pathway is becoming easier. He needs to win one state in the Rust Belt, and he's got the presidency. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.